Sometimes we hear, well, the Diksha Guru is taking my karma, the Diksha Guru is going to come back. Why not the Siksha Guru? The king takes the karma, the parents take the karma. Prabhupada said, don't make me come back to the prostitute house to save you, in relation to the story of Bilvamangal Thakur, who, the prostitute Chintamani became his guru, or represented his guru. And we've seen, at least there are several stories in which Prabhupada appeared to his disciples who had left Krishna consciousness, but previously had done amazing service, were surrendered souls, but became distracted by Maya. And at the time of death, Prabhupada appeared to them. And at least one of them I know had a very degraded life after leaving Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada appeared. So Prabhupada said, don't make me come back. So in this case, he came back. In discussion with many of my godbrothers, that's one answer. And the other answer is that someone who represents Srila Prabhupada or represents your spiritual master in our disciplic succession will come to save you, whether it's that spiritual master or whether it's someone who comes in that line. Now, Prabhupada said at the time of initiation, the spiritual master takes our karma. Generally, the spiritual master is praying for us, so certainly we can't avoid that appreciation of the Diksha Guru for doing that. There's no question. And will that Diksha Guru come back? Will that Siksha Guru come back? Or will, by divine arrangement, Srila Prabhupada arranged that he'll come and make the arrangement, or that you will be born again in a place where someone who represents our line coming through Mahaprabhu, through Prabhupada, comes to you? That we can't say for sure. But one thing we can say is that we should always feel grateful for the mercy that's been given us. And we see our spiritual masters just delivering that mercy of Prabhupada, and really the duty of our Guru is to connect us to Prabhupada, because that's the source of the mercy. Prabhupada has the big bowl of mercy. And so we're getting a little water from that, and then we're taking and we're pouring on it, so that's the source. So really, when you take a Guru, whether it's Siksha or Diksha, really the job of that Guru is to connect you to Prabhupada. That's the source of our strength, that's the source of our knowledge. So we don't just want to be focused on, here's our Guru and he's taking me back to Godhead. It's the whole disciplic succession is working for you. And once you're connected with your Guru, then you're connected with that whole disciplic succession through Prabhupada, and especially in ISKCON. Very much focused on our relationship with Prabhupada and how your Guru is helping you come closer to Srila Prabhupada. And that's really the source of the mercy. And that's how we, as Gurus, generally we think, I am nothing, but Prabhupada has asked me to do this service, and by his mercy I can be an instrument of his mercy so that I can connect my disciples to him so that they can receive the mercy. And this also answers the question from yesterday, that whether it's Diksha or Siksha, all your Gurus are connecting you to Prabhupada, who is the Parama Guru, who is the main Guru for all of us, and the source of everything. In Prabhupada's time, he said, don't read my spiritual master's books. Whatever you need to learn about him, you learn through me. But now, in ISKCON, we don't say that, only read my books. We would never say that. We say, read Prabhupada's books. You need to read them more. Read his books more than you read mine. Hear his lectures more than you hear mine. That's what we say, because that's where our deepest connection is. And that kind of universalizes the whole Diksha, Siksha so-called dilemma, and that everyone is trying to connect you to Srila Prabhupada. And that way, we say the Guru is one, your Diksha Guru or your other aunts and uncles are all trying to connect you to Prabhupada. And sometimes we find that devotees, and this is very good and this is what we want, become very, very attached to Prabhupada. And they say, I'm most attached to Prabhupada. That's where I find my strength and shelter. And that's how it should be. And we, as Gurus, are just trying to help you connect more deeply to Prabhupada. Just like the Guru is helping you connect with the Supersoul. Prabhupada says that. So you can hear the Supersoul. So we're helping connect you to Prabhupada. And so when people ask me, how do I know who my Guru is? I always say, who do you feel is connecting you most with Prabhupada? Who is opening you up to that connection? Who is inspiring you in that connection to get closer and closer to Prabhupada? That is the person. That's your guru. That's the person you want to say, here's my guru. This person he's the one who's helping me most get to Prabhupada. And of course, many devotees can be that person who's your guru. The last thing, and I think you all know this, in regards to the Siksha and Diksha, Siksha is always the most important because it's the Siksha, not the Diksha ceremony, it's the Siksha that brings you back to Godhead. Not that your Diksha guru doesn't give you Siksha, he does. But the Siksha is the most important, and that's why we said, who's ever helping you the most, that becomes the most important guru. And in some cases, your Diksha guru is not the one who's giving you the most Siksha. And all of this is really common sense, and it's really natural. Because the person who's helping you the most, naturally you're the most connected to them. You're the most grateful. You feel the most for them. And in most cases, it is the Siksha guru, because that's where you're getting most of your instruction. But as we're saying here, as you become more connected to Prabhupada, you feel more and more how Prabhupada is saving you, and then you become more and more attached. And then you appreciate your guru more because he's the one who's connecting you to the source of being saved, and that's Srila Prabhupada. And I think this kind of resolves all the questions. If we see everyone's focused on bringing you to Prabhupada, that kind of resolves everything. And I had a godbrother, and I was a Siksha guru for some of his disciples, and he was saying that the job of the Siksha guru is to represent the Diksha guru, and that's a general instruction. But within ISKCON, our job is to represent Prabhupada. Because obviously I don't know everything someone's Siksha guru says. So if I have a Siksha disciple, I would try my best to connect them to what Prabhupada has said in the particular practical situation they're in and guide them that way. And we would hope that's what their Diksha guru is doing, and we would hope that all their instructions are more or less the same, or at least going to help them go back to Godhead. And on occasions, I've seen that the Diksha guru, when he wasn't aware of the particular details of a situation, I gave an instruction to a Siksha disciple that was slightly different, knowing that if he would have known the details, he would have given that instruction, but he didn't have the time or didn't respond to that disciple. So the goal is just to get that devotee back to Godhead and through connecting with Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.